Hi everybody, we are going to go over lesson 2.1, just examples 1 through 3 today. Now this is the part that is just multiplying fractions. It's on page 56 in your math book. So page 56, we're just looking at multiplying fractions. It's really easy, I promise. If you need a calculator, you can use it, but it's just multiply numerators, multiply denominators, and simplify. That's it. That's the whole step. And we're just working with simple fractions today. We are not working with mixed numbers, so we don't need to worry about that. Here's the first example. The first example has us just multiplying, so it's 1/5 times 1/3, and you multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. You don't have to do anything with common fractions or common denominators. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And then you just simplify it. So sometimes you'll need to simplify and sometimes you don't. So I'm going to show you one more example of just a basic simplifying fractions. This is in my notes that I've uploaded and attached. So all you do when you multiply fractions is you multiply your numerators. 2 times 3 is 6, and you multiply your denominators. 7 times 5 is 35. They don't have any common factors, so I don't have to simplify anything. It's not an improper fraction. At 6/35, I'm done with that problem. That's it. Now simplifying gets a little bit trickier because there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. So let's go ahead and look at example 2, because that one does get a little bit more difficult. It is helpful to know your multiplication at that point. Know your factors, at least your basic factors. 2s, 3s, 10s, no, 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s. Those are generally the factors that you'll use to do any division that you need to do any simplifying that you need to. So here the problem is 8/9 times 3/5. Oh, I gotta paint my fingernails. What you do is you multiply your numerators and multiply your denominators. So you have 8 times 3 and 9 times 4. And at this point, you can simplify your fractions right here. So you do that when when the numerator and denominator of fractions have a similar common factor. So for this example, 3 and 9 both have a factor of 3 in common. So the way I do it, and I do it a little bit different than the book, so let me just show you here, because I did not write this down on my notes. I did some extra examples. So if I had 8/9 times 3/4, 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3. And I'm dividing in my brain, so this is the whole mental math thing. I'm dividing 3 and I'm dividing 9 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. And I can leave it like that, and then I won't have to simplify as much in my next step. Or I can simplify it right here. I can simplify further right here. 8 and 4, do you see how they're numerator and denominator? So when you simplify, it has to be numerator denominator. It can't be denominators, it can't be just numerators, it has to be cross simplifying, okay? 4 and 8 have a common factor of 4. 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 8 two times, and then I end up with 2 times 1 over 3 times 1. See this right here? And then that's what I multiply together, and I get 2/3. Or there's a bunch of different ways that you can do this. Now, if I didn't want to simplify, if I'm like, nope, I'm just doing the multiplication, I will simplify everything later, I end up with 8 times 3 is 24. 9 times 4 is 36, and now I have to simplify 24/36, which has a greatest common factor of, did anybody guess it? What did you say? Oh, you said 12? Yeah, you're right. That's the greatest common factor. So I divide my numerator and denominator by 12 and end up with 2/3. same answer. And like I'm saying, you can do this a number of different ways. Let me show you one more, because if you don't know your greatest common factor and you just want to simplify in steps, I know that I put notes out on this a while ago, but if I just saw that 3 and 9 have a common factor of 3, and then I multiplied and got 8/12, I can still simplify at this point, because the only right answer, when I say simplify the answer, make sure you turn in a simplified fraction. The only right answer is 2/3, but there are lots of ways to get there. So I could even say, okay, I know these guys are even. I know that I can divide them by 2 and start there. And I can divide further by 2. It's so cool. And still end up with 2/3. Okay? On my paper, my notes that I've submitted and I've attached, I have lots and lots, oops, that is not so, there we go. I have lots and lots of different examples. 2/25 times 5/6. And here I simplified, I divided my numerators and denominator by 5s, and here I divided them by 2s. So I was just showing you all the different ways that you can do this. 3/7 times 14/21. 1/4 times 8/12. And it's just lots and lots of different ways to show your work. Okay, lots and lots of different ways to get to the one right answer. Go ahead and pause the video right now. I want you to try on your own 1 through 4 on page 56. Yeah, page 56. On your own 1 through 4, page 56, go ahead and pause it. Okay, so here we have 1/2 times 5/6, 7/8 times 1/4, 3/7 times 2/3, and 4/9 times 3/10. Number 1, there is no simplifying that needs to happen. There are no common factors. If you tried to simplify 2 and 6, you can't do that because they're both denominators. Your answer should be 5/12. Number 2, your answer is 7/32. Number 3, there was a little bit of simplifying right here. You have common factors of 3 there, so my answer is 2/7. And here, there's a lot of different ways that you could get there, but the only right answer is 2/15. The only right answer, I said, is 2/15. My common factor that I just divided by for 4 and 10 was 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times, 2 goes into 10 5 times. My greatest common factor for 9 and 3 again was 3, and that's how I ended up with 2/15. And the last problem that I want to go over with you today, then the last example that I'm going to go over with you guys today is example number 3. So it's just
Tuesday morning. Please stand for the pledge.
okay. So for story problems, when you are trying to figure out the process, it's just the same thing. It's just multiplying fractions. I know that in 5th grade you worked a little bit on area models like this, where you were trying to show if you had 2/3 of a bag of flour. So if we look at this drawing, this is the 2/3. So if you look at the rectangle and you look at just these horizontal stripes, that's the 2/3, that greeny blue stuff. That's 2/3, and that's how much flour you have. But I used 3/4 of what I had of the whole 3/4 of all the flour in the bag to make empanada dough. My vertical stripes, my up and down stripes, are the fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 of those are shaded yellow. Where they meet, the 2/3 of a bag, and I used 3/4 of that, ended up with using half of the bag. And that is how you to find 2/3, or to find 3/4 of 2/3, you just multiply your fractions together, just like they did in the book. Here's another place that you would use it. Here's my extra example of a story problem. if I have 5/8 of a large bottle of shampoo, and I put 3/10 of what I have into a smaller bottle, though why I would do that, I don't know. I just have empty bottles. How much of the entire large bottle did I put into the small bottle? And I ended up with 3/16 of the large bottle because I just multiply 5/8 times 3/10. If you have questions, let me know. Your homework tonight is, let me write it down here so you have it. Homework is on page 59. It is 4 through 20 and 21 through, hold on, 4 through 20, 21 and 22. And then I also, hold on, I did that wrong. 4 through 20, let's just do 4 through 22, how about that? Oh my goodness, why am I making it so hard? I don't know. 4 through 22 and 60 and 61. That's just a little bit of a review. 60 and 61, that's your homework for tonight. Fill it out in Google Forms, complete it on a piece of paper, fill it out in Google Form, and you'll be good. Let me know if you have questions.